Course 1, Lesson 41, we're going to find the percent of a number. It might be nice to have your fraction manipulatives nearby so you can pause this and grab them. And when you come back, remember that percent means per 100. So any fraction where your denominator is 100, and it can be very useful doing all sorts of things. What if we describe part of a group? It could be a fraction or a percent, right? 3/4 of the students voted for Imelda. Or you could talk about Tim answering 80% of the questions right. We could have done either of those the other way. There are different ways to talk about parts of a whole. Percents can work really well in finances. Music CDs were on sale for 30% off. Sales tax is 7% of the original price added on. Bank pays 3% interest to you for leaving your money in their savings accounts. When we're asked to find a certain percent of a number, we usually change the percent to either fraction or decimal before performing the calculation. At some point, maybe you'll learn another way to do this, but if we need to get the percent of a number, let's turn it into a fraction or decimal and then find what that is as a percent. 25%, you could find your fraction manipulative to remind you right away it's 1/4. You might even have that memorized in the brain stuck already. Or you could think of percent as per century, 100, right? Per 100. 25% is 25 per 100 items, whatever we're counting. And if we're turning that, and then we can use that to find 25% of things. So 25% is 25 over 100. 25% of, I don't know, 4. It's going to be 1, but 25 times 4 would be 100. And then 100 times 1 is 1, which really just means 100. Any whole number is itself over 1 as a fraction, right? 5% is 5 over 10, but not 1/5 or 5 or anything like that. Don't get any funny ideas. 5 over 100 is worth 1/20th, which might seem silly, but think about it, it makes perfect sense. Let's visualize this a little bit. 25 hundredths would look like this many little cubes inside of 100. 25 of them looks like about a fourth, right? You can even see kind of a darker line here showing quadrants like on a coordinate plane. And it's 1 quadrant, 1/4. 5/100ths, not so much. Non-zero digits are in both the decimal and percent forms of a number. In the decimal form, however, the decimal point is shifted 2 places to the left. 15% as a decimal. You can put 15 over 100 and then divide it on your calculator, or you can just know, if you haven't figured it out, that percent means you're just going to move the decimal place. When you're going to a percent, you're going to go to the left. Out of percent, you go back to the right with your decimal. So I have 15%. The decimal really is here on the number 15. If I say decimal, I go 1, 2, and put the decimal here instead. And voila, 15 hundredths. 75, reduced fraction. Well, 0.75 doesn't really help us, does it? 75 over 100, according to our fraction manipulatives, comes down to 3/4 if you get the GCF of 25 in there. And what I mean by that is 75 over 100, we would divide the 75 by 25 and the 100 by 25, leaving us with the reduced fraction of, this is 3, this is 4, because 25 was the GCF. Okay, almost there. What number is 75% of 20? Thinking of it in equation form with an equal sign, right? We need a number one second. We need a number to be less than 20, about 3/4 of it, using your fraction manipulative or example 2. You know that 75% goes straight to 3/4. Of is times, is equals. So what's going to be that? What's 75% of 20? Take your 3/4 or 0.75, whichever you like, fraction or decimal, and then do the calculation. Of means times, so 20 times 3, right? Because in multiplication we go across the numerators. 20 times 3 is 60. 4 times 1 across the bottoms is 4. 60 divided by 4 fits in once, leaves in with 2. 15, the short version. Jamal correctly answered 80% of the 25 questions. So how many questions is right if you got an 80 on your paper? 80% is 80 over 100, reduced to 4/5, or 8/10. Multiply that times how many questions we were talking about. You end up on your calculator with 20 questions. Sales tax is 6%. Find the tax added to your $12 purchase with that rate. Then find the total price. So it's a two-step problem. Sales tax is charged on the sale of an item. It's some percent of the item's purchase price, and it gets tacked on when you pay finally at the register, right? Maybe you've dealt with this before, much to your chagrin. Sales tax, 6%. What's percent as a decimal? Let's try it that way this time. Move over 2 spots. Uh-oh, placeholder. So we need to put that 0 there, so this is proper. Now, of the $12, again, we don't need those decimals because they're to the right of a decimal place and not in front of an integer that we need. Multiply these. 12 times 6/10. Don't worry about these decimals. It's all about this to start. 12, 7, and zeros. Well, let's do them. So we have our placeholder. Looks like it's going to be 0, 7, 2. Count your decimal places. 1, 2. No. Sorry, just leave it right there. There are no decimals. This is a whole number. 12. Here, though, we have 2 decimal places plus 0 is 2. Total, 72. We're not done. Don't forget ends of questions. Find the total price. That's why we always go back and check is our answer reasonable. Total price on a $12 purchase would not be 72 cents. Instead, we tack that on to the 12. Line up your decimal places, right? Final answer is $12.72. Feel free to pause any video, rewind, ask a question, whatever it takes for you to get complete understanding of what we're talking about and do your very best on the assignment. Pick 3 fractions from A through F. Pick 1 from G through L, so that's 4 total. And then do O, please. Thank you.